Princess Diana has been the source of many articles and books. She is most famously remembered for being a princess of grace and glamour, and her untimely death. But what other conspiracies revolve around the princess? Follow me down the rabbit hole to find out. Hi, friends, and welcome back to the rabbit hole. I'm your host, Danny, and today we are talking about Princess Diana. Again, I know. I just didn't want to put all of this into last week's episode just because it was already a really long episode. So this is going to be a short episode too because I sound sick. I'm sorry, guys. That's why I'm making it a short episode, is because I don't want you to have to listen to my nasally voice all week this week. So, this is going to be quick. Just other conspiracies I found while researching for Princess Diana's car accident, and they kind of all relate back to the accident. So, and all the history behind Princess Diana, who she was, all of that is in last week's episode. So go listen to that one if you want to hear all of her history, everything about her. But we're going to go into just other conspiracies about Princess Diana, and actually a lot of it revolves around Harry as well. So here we are. So, Princess Diana outed her own affairs as well as those of her husband, Prince Charles, in a tell-all interview in 1995 with BBC. Although, we had kind of known about them already, like prior to that interview, and Prince Charles had kind of mentioned some things. There was just some talk, about the two being with other people, not each other. So, and this wasn't like a secret; everybody knew. So Princess Diana had two well-known affairs while she was married with Prince Charles. The first being James Hewitt. We're not going to talk about James Gilby in this episode. We did talk about him a smidgen in the last episode. He doesn't have very many conspiracies about him. She slept with him while they were married. Anyway, doesn't matter. Hewitt was a British former cavalry officer in the British Army. And the affair had started when Hewitt had become a household cavalry and basically was asked to give Diana riding lessons. Diana was scared of horses, so she wasn't super into it, but she kind of liked Hewitt, so she was like, I'll do it. And then they ended up being together for 5 years or something like that. Hewitt is accused of being Prince Harry's biological father. And honestly, if you look at a picture of James Hewitt and Harry next to each other, they could be twins. Harry looks a lot more, to me, he looks a lot more like James Hewitt than he does like Prince Charles. I don't know. And everyone says the red hair, but in the defense against the conspiracy, I guess, red hair is such a weird recessive gene that it could come from anywhere. So it could have come from years and years and years ago in your family DNA. So I don't think we should really point to the red hair as being a smoking gun. But next to each other, these two look like twins. But of course, there's a cover up, right? So Harry was born in 1984. James Hewitt and Diana apparently didn't start their relationship until 1986. However, the thing is, I can't really find when he became a member of the household cavalry. I tried. I looked it up. When you look up his military history, it doesn't say specifically when he was stationed as a household cavalry member. It just says when he received different promotions and different things like that he was involved in the Iraq War. And he and Diana actually continued their relationship after he had left to go fight in that war. They had some pretty scandalous letters sent back and forth to each other. But I can't find when he became a member of the household cavalry. So I'm not here to say that they did or did not start their relationship in 1986. I'm just saying that is a really good cover up. If this was her first affair, they were probably more, secretive about it at the beginning and a little more loose about it as time went on because they figured out that nobody really cares anyway. But they could have started their relationship earlier. He could be the father of Harry, potentially. I'm just trying to work out how this could work, right? So maybe they said that their relationship didn't start till 1986 because Harry would have been a year and a half, 2 years old then. And then the royal family doesn't have to worry or wonder if, Harry's actually a love child between Diana and James, or if he's actually, a prince of the royal family. Because that would be quite the controversy. That would blow up the entire reputation of everything, right? And they are so particular about how they look and how they're perceived by the public, and everything that comes with the royal family and being a member of the royal family is so particular that I could see them, both of them, like coming to the agreement like, hey, we're gonna be killed if it ever comes out that Harry's not actually Charles's son. So I can see it. I can see them just trying to cover this up. And honestly, I in the show notes, there's a link to just my Google search of the two next to each other. I will also post it on Instagram like I do. But look up Harry and Charles and James Hewitt, all three next to each other. It's hard to it's hard to deny that Harry does look a lot like James Hewitt. Don't get me wrong, it could just be my eyes deceiving me, but I would love to hear what you guys have to say. So go to my poll on my Instagram. You guys know the drill. Go take that poll and tell me if you think that Harry is Charles's son or not. On to the next.
Did you know that over 40% of Americans have a hard time swallowing pills? So when it's time to take your vitamins, large capsules and pills are out of the question. We know that gummy vitamins exist, but they're full of sugar, they get stuck in your teeth, and they only contain a fraction of the nutrients you need. Luckily, Easy Melts has discovered the ultimate vitamin sweet spot. Vitamins that melt in your mouth, taste like a treat, and are packed with nutrients ready for absorption, all without an ounce of sugar. For a limited time, Easy Melts is giving listeners a free 3-month supply of vitamin D3 with their first purchase. To claim your free D3 vitamins, visit try.easymelts.com/spring24. That's try.melts.com/spring24. Say goodbye to the old way of taking your vitamins and say hello to the easy way. Menopausal and perimenopausal women, listen up. It's time to take control of your health and comfort, and Winona is here to help. Winona is a telemedicine company for menopause care who believes that your symptoms are real, important, and deserve to be taken seriously. And for many women, this starts with hormone replacement therapy. Winona's HRT is made with plant-based, bioidentical hormones rather than synthetic ones, so it better aligns with your body to offer relief from hot flashes, weight gain, and other uncomfortable symptoms. 80% of women who use Winona find relief within just 90 days. So, what are you waiting for? Get started today. Visit buywinona.com today to start your free visit. With free shipping and the ability to pause or cancel at any time, your path to wellness has zero obligations. Use code SPRING24 at buywinona.com for 25% off your first treatment plan. That's BYWINONA.com for 25% off. Winona. Menopause care made easy.
Do you think Princess Diana was trying to fake her own death instead of being killed? So hear me out. She was in the spotlight all the time. She tried to escape the spotlight. She tried to use it, like the paparazzi and all this attention, for like good as much as she could, right? So like when she went to the hospital and shook hands with the AIDS patients, if she was trying to raise money for like charitable events, she tried to do really good things with the public eye. However, I don't know. I've never been in the public eye the way Princess Diana was. I can just imagine that it takes a toll on you because you literally can't do anything without people scrutinizing your every move, everything you do. And even like I can see it to a certain degree like today, like you go out and you do anything, people will put it on social media. People are blasting people left and right? And we're just regular old people. So imagine that to the nth degree. This is Princess Diana's life, and she's got 2 children that she needs to take care of and look out for. She's a royal who's no longer a royal technically. It's a weird situation. So I could see potentially wanting to fake her own death to leave the public eye. there are kind of two different things that go with this theory, or like two different parts of this theory. So either she and Dodi were replaced by different bodies that looked like them, and they were the ones that were buried, and then her and Dodi like ran off to be together, or they had a plot to fake their own death and run away together, and they messed up, and then they died in the process of trying to fake their deaths. And I think, okay, out of those two, it makes more sense that they attempted to fake their own deaths and then they actually failed and died, because she wouldn't have just left her boys behind. Diana wouldn't have just gone away forever and like left the boys. So to me, it makes sense that if this theory has any validity at all, that it was they tried to fake their death and they still died. There's just so many weird coincidences, weird things that happened with the accident. Like, I don't know. And somebody on my Instagram, they commented, they're like, oh, well, it was just a case that she wasn't wearing a seatbelt, and the one guy that was wearing a seatbelt, he survived. Well, I forgot to include this in last week's episode. I read somewhere, and I didn't put this in the show notes because I couldn't find it again, but I remember reading it last week or 2 weeks ago when I was doing this research, that there might have been like a malfunction with the seatbelts in the car, and that's why she wasn't actually wearing her seatbelt. Is that something was wrong with the car and they couldn't actually get their seatbelts to work. And in the 90s, you have to remember, like, I remember this so clearly. People used to never wear their seatbelts. I thought it was so cool. You get to be a grown up. You don't have to wear a seatbelt anymore. And then now, they have the click it or ticket rules. They have all these different laws in place that you have to wear your seatbelt. But like, they didn't used to have that. And so not wearing your seatbelt wasn't a big deal. But also I did read that it was kind of their seatbelts were messed up. So yes, maybe it was just a case that like all these weird things happened coincidentally and she was just not wearing a seatbelt. I don't know. I don't believe it, but if that's what you need to believe, go believe it. Believe whatever it is that you need to believe. And the last little piece I have for you today, I told you it was going to be a short episode. Harry stated that he was glad that they got out before something bad happened to him or his wife. So in his Oprah interview after they left the royal family, Harry said he feared Diana's death would repeat itself. Okay, and there's some serious concerns there, right? Well, Harry and Meghan left the royal family in spring of 2020, like officially, completely, no more titles, no more anything, completely by themselves in the spring of 2020. So since then, the couple has been very open about toxic behavior in the family and what it's like to be royal. So all the royal things, and the tell-alls from the 90s have nothing on the way that Meghan and Harry are coming out and sharing what they've experienced or what they haven't experienced. The lack of protection or the lack of help that they've needed, different things that they would expect from a family, especially a royal family, to help them as royals. They have come out and said a lot. And I'm not just going over this because the Harry and Meghan docuseries just came out on Netflix. I actually haven't seen that yet, but they have time and time again shared more than I bet the royals are comfortable with them sharing. So if we're going with the reason that they killed Diana is because she was loose-lipped and she was going to share too much and she was going to, kind of share with the world more about the royals than what the royals were comfortable with sharing, it makes sense that Harry and Meghan would be very concerned for their lives and the lives of their children. I mean, obviously, they did not kill William and Harry, but William and Harry, especially William, they were in line for the throne. Archie's like 5th or 6th in line for the throne. There's like the likelihood of him ever taking the throne is so low. William's family, the whole family would have to die, and then Harry would have to. Anyway, it's a whole thing. But the likelihood of them dying is lower because they live in the U.S. It makes sense that they would move to the U.S. to kind of escape that tragic fate. However, Diana did die in Paris. Like, she was killed in Paris. MI6 agents could be anywhere in the world, kind of like how our CIA agents could be anywhere. So could MI6. Also, Britain is an ally to the US, so the agencies could work together. If they really wanted to kill Harry and Meghan, it could happen. I feel like it's lower because they're in the US. Also, there's so much spotlight. They keep putting themselves back in the spotlight. And that's another thing people don't understand. They're like, well, they left the royal family to escape the spotlight, to have a more private life. Well, I think it's very smart on their end to keep putting themselves back in the spotlight to hopefully escape the fate that Diana met. I don't know. I'm just speculating here. These are some theories that I came across while I was researching for Princess Diana's, the biggest conspiracy theory, the car accident, how she died, the death. It was so weird. But these other things, they have some validity to them. I don't know. I think that, Princess Diana could have faked her own death. I'm just giving you guys the theories. You come up with what you believe. But as always, my friends, the sources, they're in the show notes. Go check them out. I hope you guys stay skeptical. I'll see you all next week. Hopefully, this cold has been kicking our butts in my house right now. So I'm hoping that this cold has run its course and I don't sound like this next week. That's why I wanted to give you a really short episode this week, because I don't want you to have to listen to me ramble on with a stuffy nose. But until next time, my friends, stay skeptical, and I will see you next week. Hey friends, The Rabbit Hole is an independent podcast with everything you hear done by me, Danny Mercy. I appreciate all of your support. Please rate and review wherever you're listening. If you want to follow us on Instagram, it's at rabbit.holepodcast. And thank you, Zakar Balaha, for our awesome intro.